Welcome to the Killshot MMA podcast from DFS Army. It's UFC Fight Night, Cannonier versus Rodrigues, the Killer Gorilla versus RoboCop. Maybe the best nickname fight night card of all time, as my co-host Monk is into that kind of thing. It used to have a nickname show, all kinds of shows. I'm Sniper. As I mentioned, Monk is with me. Monk, other than Tatiana Suarez, I think we nailed last week. But that was a pretty big miss. I'm not going to lie. But other than that, I think we were all over it.
Yeah, I'm leaning pretty hard on the fact that I said I slightly lean Tatiana on that one. But yeah, it was, shout out to Zhang Wei Li, man. Wow. That was a drubbing, as they say.
Impressive performance. But we turn our attention to DFS for this card. Look, there are 13 fights on this card. We're going to break down 12 of them because just hours ago we got the news that Jared Gordon is now going to be fighting. I gotta find the right name here. It's one of the
Kawe Fernandez dropped out.
Yeah, Kawe Fernandez dropped out. We got all kinds of fights that, fight odds is all fucked up. And fight doesn't even have the fight yet. He's taking on one of the Ruzaboyevs. What the hell's his fucking name?
Mashed potato Ruzaboyev. Mash Rabjan Ruzaboyev.
Mash Rabjan. Thank you. Mash Rabjan Ruzaboyev and Jared Gordon. We'll break that down for the DFS Army members in Discord on the cheat sheet. Sorry, don't get it today. I haven't even pulled tape yet for the tape index over at Newsome MMA, where I do the tape index over there. So if you research fights, go and check that out. But I haven't even pulled tape for him, much less watch it. So I can't really give you an analysis. So that'll be.
He likes to wrestle.
Yeah, you would think. So that being said, that breakdown is going to be for members only. But we still got 12 fights to break down. Some good ones, some shit ones, both for DFS and otherwise. Really, I think it's an interesting DFS card. So let's just go ahead and Monk, let's just jump right into it.
Yes,
we are going to start with the first fight of the night. Yeah, I'm back to doing this because honestly, I didn't want to end this podcast with Walker, Mays, and Avila Cavalcante. Let's just get this shit out of the way. Before I do that though, because we're going to break them all down, hit the like button, share with your friends, make some money playing DraftKings with us. And now we will go to work. Jacqueline Cavalcante, she's a big old favorite, minus 550. Avila, plus 400. DraftKings salary. Cavalcante's the most expensive fighter on the card at 9,500. Avila, cheapest at 6,700. Your fight goes to decision. Prop is a big old fat minus, the fuck is it? Minus 325. Monk, I'm going to let you decide. Do you want to do this fight first, or do you want to do Walker and Dontel Mays first? Which one you want to do first?
So
Your call.
Do I want to eat my green beans or my Brussels sprouts first? Oh Jesus! Now let's do this one. Let's do it. You already set it up nicely.
By the way, I like green beans and Brussels sprouts.
It's just hey, I was just trying to channel my inner kid. Brussels sprouts, I don't do.
Yeah,
I don't.
They gotta be like burned, like really roasted.
Grease, bacon grease.
Not even grease, but just roasted nice. Anyway, I like vegetables. I'm a weird guy. What do you want? Go ahead. I teed it up.
Let's do Cavalcante. I mean, look, she's 9,500. Probably, I guess rightfully so. Julia Avila, her nickname's like Raging Panda. That's a fantastic nickname for sure. But she's been off for over a year. Who did she fight last? Oh yeah, Miesha Tate. Was this in Austin? I might have been. Oh yeah, I was in this fight. She got smashed, I believe, by Miesha Tate. Lost to Sajara Eubanks. That is not aging well at all. But really, the bottom line is, even if you think Cavalcante is going to win, which I probably do, probably by decision, how do you roster her at 9,500, considering she's scoring like 80 points, something like that against Cornole? In her wins, she's just not there. It is 65 against Cornole, 66 against Nunes, and 80 against Zara Farron. So Avila's probably a little, probably in that Nunes and Cornola range, maybe better. This will tell us. But is Cavalcante really going to do much to pay off to 10, 11, 12x that salary? I don't think so. So I'm going to be looking elsewhere. Cavalcante decision is my pick, but Julia's got decent striking defense, and that's about all that Cavalcante does. So we'll just have to find out. I think it's a decision, doesn't score well.
Totally agree with you. I think you already spent too much time on the fight. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm not, like the rest of the world, probably not feeling fantastic. If we could do a 45-minute podcast, I'm all about it this week. So I'm
Right.
not going to expand too greatly on when we are totally in alignment. I will add to it. We haven't seen Avila in a bit. Maybe she's improved. It's hard to really know. DFS breakdown wise, I'm picking Cavalcante for the reasons you mentioned, but I'm straight up fading her bitch ass.
Yeah.
If she beats me, she beats me. Uh, Julia Avila is a lock button in cash games. Minus 325, 6,700. Not a
Yeah.
ton of dogs I really like this week. I mean, there's a couple, especially in GPPs, but yeah, I go ahead and lock button cash games. I can
I like it.
I can make the argument this week because I don't like the stack in cash for the main event. I could make the argument that you can go Cavalcante Cater 67, 6,800 and then just slam in the other favorites.
Jesus.
I can make a real argument for that.
You could.
I'm gonna play with that build and probably do some Q&A with it in the Discord. So Avila is the only real DFS option here for me.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Walter Walker. Yay! And Dontel Mays. Woo! Walter Walker's minus 225. Dontel Mays is plus 190. Big fat heavyweights who are favored to go to decision at minus 140. That's always a fun fucking time.
Yeah.
Your DraftKings salaries for this one. Where the fuck are they? Walter Walker's 8,700. Dontel Mays is 7,500. Unfortunately, because of the context of this card, I actually do like this fight for GPPs because there's quite a few that I don't. And this one is I flipped back and forth with this fight a few times, and I still might, because yesterday in Discord is like, I think I'm picking Dontel Mays, guys. And I looked, it's just back and forth. It's the way I phrase it in my notes, it's low-level dog shit wrapped in cat shit. Walter Walker, can he get takedowns? If he can't, he's going to get smashed. I think he probably can, though. The more I think about it, Dontel Mays doesn't have great takedown defense. But yeah, wrestled Josh Parisian once. Like, who knows? They're both bad. But it's binary in terms of if Walker can get takedowns, he probably wins and scores pretty damn well. And if Mays stops it, I think Mays will actually beat up Walker on the feet. I think if this fight's on the feet, I think unless Walker lands some big bomb that Mays walks into, which again isn't out of the realm of possibilities with these two shitholes, I think he's more likely to get nuked on the feet. So, and any win for Dontel Mays at 7,500 is viable. It's a good GPP fight. It's a GPP special, not an all-in, but I do prefer I do prefer Walter Walker. But Mays will be in that secondary underdog option for GPPs. Monk, how about for you?
Yeah, I probably agree. I'm gonna pick Walker probably by decision due to he'll land takedowns on Mays, who has like a sub 43% takedown defense. It's quite pathetic. And then he won't be able to get up. I mean, this is the guy that we saw get humped to death by, it was Parisian, yes or no?
No,
No,
he
Who
humped
was
Parisian.
Oh, that's
Was
right.
it
That's what it was.
Shamil?
Okay, that's what it was. That's what it was. Sorry. I was getting things. All these low level heavies are just in these past 2 weeks are all getting convoluted in my head. But yeah, I like Walker. Like I said, the takedown defense or lack thereof from Dontel Mays is going to be a huge red flag. Somehow, if that's improved and Walker can't get him down, then I agree. Mays is going to be good for GPPs. I said he's viable in GPP for his knockout upside, but he only has 4 wins in 9 fights, and only 2 of those came via knockout. So it's not like a guaranteed thing. It's not like a Junior Tafa, Taliesin Teixeira type fight at all. But yeah, I
Drilled
like
that one, by the way.
What's that?
Drilled that one.
Yeah. That was, I don't even think Tafa landed a strike. So yeah, give me Walker. I don't have much else to add. I think he's fine. I think both sides are fine in GBPs. I'll have more Walker though, because I just think he wins more often than he doesn't here. And yeah, heavyweight's such a laughing stock that there is potential value in some of these matchups. You just got to sort through all the bullshit.
Yep. Totally agree. Let's move on and let's talk about Vince Morales and Elijah Smith. Vince Morales plus 135 now. Get some odds value here, as now Elijah Smith's down at minus 155.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
But Elijah Smith is 9,100. Vince Morales is 7,100. Your fight goes to decision prop on this one. Minus 270. Should see the scorecards. We have in this range Elijah Smith at 9,100, Jose Delgado at 9,000, both Dana White Contender Series debutantes, installed as pretty big DraftKings favorites. Monk, you're first for this one. I think I have a contrarian take to most on this particular fight. Go ahead.
I didn't even really see that. I picked Morales straight up at 7,100.
I think that's going to be a common pick.
Well, that's fucking stupid, but okay, that's fine. I was trying to be all like, I'm going out on a limb.
Yeah, he's 7,100 and plus 130 now.
Well, that's good then. That's good. We're getting to the point now where we have too many extremely low price underdogs that we're trying to play. I mean, we've already listed 3 of them that have, decent possibilities. But I do like Vince Morales. Look, man, are we trusting Eli Smith here? Like, he's the, son of Gilbert Smith. If you don't know who that is, he looks exactly like us. I was like, that guy looks familiar. It turns out that's why. He's 7-1 as a pro. So again, not 10 fights. He's only 22 years old. He has 1 DWCS fight in which I believe he's the one that went to decision. Yes.
I believe so.
I don't know. I think it does. Yeah, Aaron Tao. So he went to decision there. Look, I just don't trust it, man. Morales is pretty untrustworthy as well. 3-6 in the UFC, but, and this is kind of like what we said about who was it, Julia Avila. Even in a loss, this dude could score well. He might have 6 losses. 5 of those are decision losses, and they are to decent opponents here. Yeah, Taylor Lapulus, Miles Johns, 2 decent fighters. Jonathan Martinez, good fighter. Chris Gutierrez, good fighter. Song Yadong was 1 fight away from a title last year. He has a win over Ayman Zahabi, which is doing nothing but aging fantastically. Finished Smolka in 2 minutes. Like, this guy has the experience, has the cage
Luis
time.
Smolka, by the way, is
I tried to work that in.
Yeah, I'm trying to just skate that by me, asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
squeak it by real quick. But
knocked down Luis Smolka.
The Zahabi win is aging well. So
he's got some in there.
Man, even in a loss, like if he goes to decision, he could score okay. And if Smith is untrustworthy, like I think, then there we go. We got ourselves a optimal lineup fighter here in Morales.
I guess. Like, the problem is that I'm going to have more Smith than Delgado, I think, for the reason in that Vince Morales is more of a known quantity, and he's not that scary. And I think that Elijah Smith can get takedowns. He needs to be able to control, which will be the challenge against Vince Morales. But Morales is more a veteran, been around a little bit, whereas the other fight, Delgado and Matthews, is 2 still relatively unknowns. I get the cage time and experience matters. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit here, but it's just one of those. Morales doesn't really scare me, and Morales has got a path to victory similar to Avila, where he could win at this price and not be optimal, and that's hard to do. Now, again, like I always say when you point this out, if there's only 1 or 2 dogs winning, he's one of them. Sure, I am for GPPs. There are better spots I like. I guess spoiler notes ahead. Those guys probably include. Actually, now that I look at it, he'll be alive in this range. The only one in this range I'm picking 2. Spoiler. I'm gonna do a spoiler. As I'm looking at Cavalcante, which we may have picked up from earlier, and I really like Chaos Williams, which I think is going to be pretty damn contrarian. I think everybody loves Bonfim. We're going to get to that though. So in that range though, he's got less upside than those 2 guys is my point. And Elijah Smith is, watch him go out and get sparked now, but I think he's more interesting to me than Jose Delgado for whatever that's worth. But I get your point. It's one of those really weird fights. These big Dana White Contender Series favorites are sketchy. They're sketchy. So, all right, let's move on and let's talk about, I think I'm up for that next fight. Oh, good. I did lead into it just right. Gabriel Bonfim and Chaos Williams. Bonfim is -209. Comeback on Williams +179. Fight ends inside the distance is -200. Still -144, by the way, to go over 1.5 rounds, which I thought was a little bit interesting. Fight. Sorry, DraftKings salaries for this one is what I'm up to. Bonfim is 8,900. Williams is 7,300. For me, this is actually a 50-50 fight. I think Chaos Williams is being a bit disrespected here. Not as much as Cavalcante, by the way. That line's fucking stupid. I'm going to get mad about that line when we get to that fight. I keep like getting there. That line is dumb. I'm really stand strong on that one. This one, I think this one's a little bit off. Getting pieced up by Nicholas Dalby, to me, if you've ever listened to a podcast I've done when Dalby's on the card, is not a good look.
Yeah, but he's Brazilian. Dalby turned like first. Dalby must hate Brazilians.
I hope so. Look, yeah, those Danes really hate the Brazilians.
I don't know what it is, man, but he shows out for Brazilians.
Regardless, that's not a good loss. It's just not. Whereas Chaos Williams is knocking people out like Carlston Harris. He's got a bunch of other decent knockouts on his record, and his losses are to Randy Brown and Michelle Pereira. Are those bad losses, or am I dumb all of a sudden? Don't answer that. But they seem like good losses. It seems like a 50-50 fight. I think Chaos Williams has got more power in his hands, and Bonfim's a little faster and more technical. To me, it's like a toss-up, but I just, again, getting knocked the fuck out by Nicholas Dalby, I go, red flag. Excuse me. I have concerns, sir. So I'm not saying to fade Bonfim. I'm saying I'm going to play more Williams than Bonfim. This is a stand I'm taking on the card. It's kind of like Tatiana, not as strong as Tatiana, let's be clear, but in one of those where Tatiana lost, my night was fucked. If Williams loses, I'm going to need really specific lineups to come. Like, I'm going to be pretty limited. But I will have Bonfim hedge lineups, but this is one of those fights I am taking a stand on. I like Chaos Williams here to pull a pretty big upset. I think most people are going to be on Bonfim here. He seems, everybody loves the Bonfim brothers. Just not a good matchup. Got to show me here. I think this would clearly be his best win. What do you got, Monk?
Which fight? Oh yeah, never mind. For some reason I don't have salaries here.
89.73.
89.73. I like Bonfim. But honestly, I agree. It's close to a 50-50 fight. I think Bonfim has more tools. Williams is basically a power striker kind of guy, but he carries his power through all 3 rounds. Doesn't have, I think he shot 2 takedowns total in the UFC, where, so Bonfim won't have to worry about that, where I think he had to go against 13 takedowns against Lusa in his last fight. So very different fight here. He should be able to get more of his game going, but at the same time, Williams has really good takedown defense and control defense. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. I lean Bonfim, but honestly, I agree. It's 50-50. So the salaries, I mean, you're going to have to play. I'll have to play a little bit under on Bonfim and a little bit over on Chaos Williams, even though I'm going to pick Bonfim to win. So yeah, I love this fight for GPPs. It could end really at any time. And yeah, Chaos never been finished in the UFC. So that will be interesting to see. So we're thinking Bonfim decision or Williams finish. So I like the prices there. So yeah, I'll go a little under on Bonfim and a little over on Williams.
All right, let's move on. Making good time today. Make sure you smash the like button, share with your friends. Gordon Fernandez is off. It's Gordon Ruzaboyev. As I mentioned, that fight will be broken down in the DFS Army Discord for our members. Otherwise, I would just be speaking nonsense. I haven't looked into the fight. Jesus Aguilar and Rafael Estevam. Whatever. Estevam's minus 400. Aguilar is plus 300. Fight ended at a distance. This is interesting to me. This is weird. Over 2.5 rounds is minus 180, but fight ends at the distance is minus 140. So Vegas is really hard in that. Hey, this fight's going to end in the last 2.5 minutes. That's really a strange line. There's got to be the way to hedge a winner in here. So I'm gonna take a look at that. Your DraftKings salaries for this one before we break it down. Estevam is 9,300. Aguilar is 6,900. Monk, you are first.
I think I like Rafael Estevam here. Lots of takedown and control upside. And that's where Aguilar lacks. So Aguilar doesn't have the best strength of schedule, I believe. And sorry, this is going to happen 2 weeks in a row, but he fought Shannon Ross, so we're not counting that one.
God, you love Shannon Ross.
Yeah, he did take a good win against Mateus Mendonça, who was 4 for 8 on his takedowns. He stuffed half of them. And then he beat Stuart Nickel. I believe he was a big underdog there in Nickel's debut because, again, the UFC loves these debuting fighters at big odds against guys that they don't think can beat him. So, and he beat him in less than 3 minutes. So he hasn't really had a ton of, great opposition. Meanwhile, Estevan's only had one fight, but it was against Charles Johnson, who has been on a good little run here until that fight. So, and he kind of shut that down. 22 takedown attempts in that one. He was only successful on 3, but that's all he needed. He got over 9 minutes of control time, and he did exactly what he needed to do. Now, Jesus Aguilar, let's see. He's given up a ton of control time. Tyra, he was controlled for 350. Mendonça, he was controlled for 844. And even in Nickel, that fight that was 239, and he won, he got controlled for over 2 minutes in that fight. So, yeah, I really like Estevam here. Hopefully, he should be able to get his game plan going, and we're looking for a finish. So he's probably one of my favorite, at least at the moment, one of my favorite upper tier, top tier fighters to roster for DK. I think he has a lot of takedown and control time upside, and hopefully we'll see a finish. And even if not, you got to roster some Aguilar too, because this is a super low level flyweight fight. So Estevam has one fight. One UFC fight. He's undefeated. You got to throw some Aguilar in there just in case.
I'll throw a little bit in because Aguilar's got a halfway decent guillotine, and I'm not on the Estevam hype train, but I'm pretty comfortably on the side of the favor here. This is I think your safest pay up option.
Yeah.
In terms of cash games, I think he's going to wrestle. I think he can control, can put up a big score. He's got upside in all formats, and I'll play a little bit of Aguilar for the reasons we both mentioned, and not really going to overthink this one. So I am on the Estevam. He's my favorite cash game pay up.
Love it.
All right, let's move on and let's talk Angela Hill, Ketlin Souza. How did you make it to where I talk about this fight first? You're a motherfucker.
This is the one where you're going to hate me on. You're going to fucking hate me.
If you try and sell Angela Hill as a play, I'm gonna smack you in the face.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, why? Just there's no. If she lands 7 strikes a minute, 7 strikes a minute.
What do you mean, bro? In her last 3 fights, she's scored real well.
We're gonna look at this. Were any of those 5 rounds?
Nope.
Angela Hill
in a fight. Okay, Mackenzie Dern. Yeah, she lost that one. That's
Angela Hill -110. Ketlin Souza -110. Fuck you. Fight goes to decision. -500. Even at these DraftKings salaries, Hill is 8,200. Souza is 8,000. Look, I almost picked Hill here. I'm going to read my notes here, and then you guys can let Monk's Insanity take over and just remember what I said to start. I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to fight with him. I'm just going to lay out my case. Monk will lay out his. I'm going to move on. I almost picked Hill here, but it's, to me, pretty irrelevant. Even if she wins, it's a striking-based decision that will not score well. If she lands 120 strikes, that is a metric fuck ton of strikes in a 3-round fight. Doable. And that puts her at what? 90 points in a decision. Cool. Whereas if Souza wins, it's probably takedowns, and she could score okay. I'm underweight to this fight. Not much DFS interest here. To me, the only side to consider is Ketlin Souza, because the way to beat Angela Hill is takedowns. Monk, you may now proceed with your insanity.
Look, we're gonna put our money on a girl that almost lost to Marnik Man. That's what we're doing here.
Ketlin Souza. I don't want to play any of this fight.
Oh, the disrespect against Angela Hill makes me sick. No, but really, Luana Pinheiro, she gets the win, 103.98 points. She's optimal in 9 minutes also, by the way. And she didn't land 120 strikes either. She landed 28. So about 100 less than that. Denisa Gomes, she scored 108.89 in that 15-minute fight. She was optimal. And the win before that was Emily Ducote. Still, these names might not, but it's not Marnik Man, right? 104.4, and she was optimal there. So she's optimal in 3 of her past 3 wins, well over 100 points. And even in her losses, yeah, the Dern fight, she had 5 rounds and she scored 45 points. Okay, it's 5 rounds. In the Tabitha Ricci fight, she scored 50.7 in a loss in 15 minutes. So that's not what you want. You want your person to win and score 100 points, but 50 in a loss is pretty fucking good. And I'm glad you're saying this because everyone is saying this. And Angela Hill in a win over Ketlin Souza has the potential to score over triple digits again, make optimal again, and nobody's going to fucking roster her. So whatever you think about the fight, I just wanted to present that information. 3 for 3 optimal, scores way better than her average recently. And who knows, maybe this has something to do with USADA not being around, but USADA's still not around. And now we're not fighting Tabitha Ricci or Mackenzie Dern or even Luana Pinheiro, Lupi Godinez. We're fighting Ketlin Souza, who almost lost to Marnik Mann. I think there's potential here on the Angela Hill side. So I'm going to be over the field, and apparently I can be like 20% and be way over the field. So that's what I like.
Maybe. I'm going to move on before I have a stroke. I can't
We did it.
Jose Delgado, Connor Matthews. Delgado's minus 310. Hey, buddy. Matthews is plus 260. Fight goes to decision, I believe. No, fight ends inside the distance. Look, favored to finish at minus 150. Your DraftKings salaries here. Delgado's 9,000. Matthews is 7,200. Monk, break it down.
Yeah, talk about low-level fights. Jesus. So we got another one here. Connor Matthews looked not great in his UFC debut against Dennis Bazookia. That said, he still ended up with 30 points he scored 30 points in 10 minutes. That is better than the average and not nothing. So that is a little bit promising at least. But yeah, I mean, he ate 8 strikes a minute from Bazookia. No takedowns. That was pretty much just a striking affair there. And, he got knocked down and put away. Jose Delgado, don't really know much about him. He fought someone named Ernie Juarez. That is a fucking great name, Ernie Juarez. In Dana White Contender Series, he ended up landing 40 strikes, a knockdown, 3 for 4 on takedowns, and over 2 minutes of control time in a fight that went like 6.5 minutes. So there's definitely some finishing upside, some volume upside. He basically showed everything you want to be shown from a prospect, not just a one-tool fighter. We got to see a little bit of everything in a very short amount of time. So I'm liking Delgado here. I don't know if he's necessarily worth the $9K that we're paying, something like that. But I'm down to give it a shot. I'll probably throw in a little Connor Matthews, but unlike who was it that we were talking about against the Morales and the new guy that he's fighting, unlike that fight, Matthews has like next to no UFC experience. So and also less than 10 fights. So I'm going with Delgado. Probably a really good GPP fight to target a little bit of both sides, but I'd be on the Delgado side.
Yeah, I like Delgado too for the reasons I mentioned earlier. This fight is weird, and you said as well. It's low level. I don't really trust either guy. And that goes both ways. I think Delgado's better. Is Matthews better than I think? Is Delgado better or worse than I think? It's hard to really gauge. Projected to end in a finish, I lean Delgado. I'm going to look at ownership here and go a little over on Delgado, a little under on Matthews, and move on about my fucking day. There's some fights where I have strong stands. I mentioned one earlier, like Chaos Williams, and this is one where I'm going to be a little vanilla. Over on one guy I think will win, little under on the other. Use the tools at DFS Army, which you should go join, sign up. Links in the description or in my bio at any of my social media. And move on about my day from there. Sometimes the analysis really is that simple.
Yeah.
Similar to how it is for this fight. Andre Petroski, Adolfo Vieira. I don't know what it is. Every time I see Andre Petroski's name, I for a second think he's Cody Brundage, and that is the worst insult. And I don't know why I mixed the two of them up, because it's probably that, muscular build, dark hair wrestler. And it's not, because they're two way different fighters. Mm-hmm. Like, Andre Petroski is not a ready-made bitch like Cody Brundage is.
And he has a good beard.
So, apologies to you, Andre. Vieira, though, is minus 250. Petroski is plus 210. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 175. Your DraftKings salaries here. Vieira is 8,800. Petroski is 7,400. Big upside fight. And like I said in my notes, super binary. Vieira is either going to get takedowns in a submission, or Petroski's going to be able to stop the takedowns, and that will lead to a late finish, a decision win, or maybe he knocks out Petroski, knocks him out. Why it's still good for upside is because Vieira's path to victory, I don't see him winning a striking-based decision. It's takedowns, win, score well. And then Petroski's upside is fine, 7,400. Again, viable dog if he can stop the takedowns. I lean towards Rodolfo Vieira, who I think is getting better, but it's a GPP special, and Petroski can absolutely break this fucking slate. 100%. He can wear on Vieira and break the slate. So he can get a second, like a late second round knockout where Vieira's taken, been shooting, can't get him down. Somewhat the gas tank issues are somewhat resolved for Vieira, and a little bit was he just blew his load early in fights early in his UFC career. Doesn't, it's something, it's one of those octagon learning experience. Still though, carries a lot of muscle, will get tired. So on Vieira, Petroski live, GPP special, lean towards the favorite for me. Monk, who you got?
Yeah, I basically completely agree. And note that if Vieira does fade and Petroski's looking for that late finish, that's how he started his UFC career, with 2-3 round finishes. People were, giving him shit about his gas tank, but at the same time, he finishes Michael Gilmore at the 13-minute mark, and he finishes Hu Yaozong just before the final bell. So we have seen it more than once from Andre Petroski, so that's definitely in the cards. Rodolfo Vieira definitely getting better, and look who he's lost to. I mean, Fluffy Hernandez, and look, me and you are both Chris Curtis haters, but the guy can fight. He's a good striker, so that's not a terrible loss in my opinion. It's it's not like losing to Cody Brundage or Dustin Stoltzfus or something like that. So yeah, I really and Petroski doesn't have bad losses either. Pereira and Malkoun. So give me Vieira. These are two grapplers, but one of them is a specialist. And this is the last thing I'll say. Sometimes if a specialist can't get his game going, i.e. Paul Craig, guys like that, it looks real bad for them real quick. So Petroski's, like you said, not, I believe you said ready-made bitch. Definitely not a ready-made bitch. So if Vieira starts going downhill, Petroski will look to finish the fight. So GPP special, and I agree. Give me more Vieira, and I just like his upside more overall.
Yep, totally agree. All right, let's move on and let's talk about Ismail Bonfim taking on Nazim Sadikov. This Bonfim brothers minus 205. Sadikov is plus 175. Your fight goes to decision is minus 145, and your DraftKings salaries for this fight, make sure I get the right Bonfim brothers, 8,400, and Sadikov is 7,800. This is weird in that minus 200 is 8,400. You get some clear value here for cash games. Here you got.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Is this one me or you? I already forgot.
I think it's me.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, go ahead.
Clear value for cash games, like you said, which is interesting because usually I only like to roster guys I have a strong lean on or girls that are going to win. And I don't know. This seems pretty 50-50. I think I picked Nazim to win, but his scoring really worries me. And at 7,800, I believe you just said, that's worrisome. Where are his numbers? My sheet is so long I have to scroll forever now. 76 against Vyacheslav. So he would have 10x'd if he gets the win, but he didn't. So he didn't. Terrence McKinney, he's like the one guy that didn't score 1,000,000 points against McKinney. He scored 82. And then he scores 77 against Evan Elder. So his scoring is very worrisome. Meanwhile, Bonfim also beat McKinney. He scored 100 on him. Then he beats Vince Pichel. What is still a good win, even if Pichel is over 40 years old or whatever. Scored 80 there. His only L was to BSD, which, I think that's still a fine loss. Yep. Is Bonfim the one? Yeah, he's the one that has more losses. So he's the guy that has 4 losses out of the Bonfim brothers. And Sadikov, I believe, trains Ray Longo, I believe.
Yep.
So
he's a Longo guy.
Yeah, I really like that. So I'm going with Sadikov. To be honest, I just have, but I think it's a decision, and really, I don't know if these guys are going to score too well at all. So I'm kind of going to be a little bit under, I think, on this one for sure, especially with all the dogs that I'm thinking are good for cash this week. I don't know that I necessarily need this.
Yeah, unlike the other Bonfim brother, who I think is opponent being undervalued here, I think this Bonfim 8,400 we get a deal on. I think Sadikov is live and fine, but the eye test just tells me that Bonfim is better. It's favored to go to decision, just like you said. I'll be underweight to this fight. Definitely, it'd be hard for me not to play Bonfim in cash games. It's really kind of that simple. I don't know how much interest I have in this fight overall. Yeah. And snow here in the Northeast. That is a call from my daughter's school. So yep, 2-hour delay. Fuck you, snow. You motherfucker. My butt. Fucking be shoveling tomorrow. God damn it.
Never again.
That just ruined my mood. It's a total mood killer.
Isn't it so hot? Don't you? I don't have to shovel the heat. All right.
I hate you.
Good.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Edmund Shabazian, Dylan Budka. Shabazian's minus 360. Budka is plus 295. DraftKings salaries for this one. Shabazian's a pay up at 9,200. Budka is 7,000. Your fight ends inside the distance. Minus 200 is a solid one to target. I'm going to be honest. I gave a look at Dylan Budka here. Budka. Like I gave him a real look. And I'm going to play some of him in GPPs. 2 bad gas tanks. Like we got 2 bad. And Budka can wrestle. We saw it against Vieira. It just fucking exhausts him. Like it would exhaust me. It's like me playing full court at the gym today. It was yeah. I got like 10 minutes in me. I'm like, oh fuck, there aren't any subs.
That's game, bad. Right?
So, by the way, we won. Your boy scored 4 points. And I got the fuck out of there.
Hell yeah.
After I scolded a bunch of kids. Quick aside, if there's 7 people waiting to play and a game ends, right? Winners stay. You would shoot to see who gets to play, right?
Yeah.
No, these 5 kids who were friends were just like, yeah, we're on.
No.
Yeah. I tried that, but they were all. Some of them, I felt I'm almost 40, and I was like getting heated with a 14-year-old.
Yeah. You gotta step back from that.
I had to check myself. Like, all right, I'm good. I'll wait a game, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Bullshit. Anyway, sorry.
I'll just be over here stretching some more.
All right. So Budka can get the takedowns. They just tire him out. Shabazian can get taken down. The overall skill and athleticism go to Shabazian. Period. Budka's live because he can wrestle, and Shabazian also gets tired. Couldn't pull the distance. It's I think one of the sneakier GP. I mean, I don't know if it'll be super sneaky, but play both sides in GPPs. This is one of the higher priority fights on this card because there are a lot where like, That's how fights like Walter Walker and Dontel Mays are going to get more of my ownership on this card. Whereas last week, I wouldn't have played him. I didn't have to fucking worry about it. This week I do. This fight is up there on the rankings because of that. Monk, how about for you?
Yeah, I probably agree. Budka's whole game is centered around takedowns, and even if he's landing them, like you said, he gets tired as shit. So hence the 0-2 start, hence the 1 weight miss. He's already missed weight in 1 of his 2 fights, so be on the lookout for that on Friday. And yeah, Edmund Shabazian has all the skills and athleticism, like you said, but for some reason, he's had trouble putting it together. Now, in Edmund's defense, he's getting the only guys he's been taken down multiple times by, that was probably a poorly constructed sentence, but you get it. Derek Brunson, Jack Hermanson, Imavov took him down once, who's on his way to fighting for a title, Fluffy Hernandez, and Gerald Mearshart. So, I mean, these are really good names, like towards the top of the division type of names. So I think it's going to be Shabazian for me in a big GPP fight with a clear edge. But man, this kid, and I say kid because he's still only 27 years old, but I'd really like to see nothing more than him putting it together, but he just hasn't. And the loss against Mearshart kind of told me that. So I'm on Shabazian, but give me a little bit of Budka just in case. But I'm not excited for it. All this dude does is get takedowns and then get tired. So what's he gonna do? So famous last words, which is why I'm rostering him a little bit.
All right, let's move on. Co-main event. Oh, good. You get to go first so I can go on my rant. Cavalcante, Yusuf Zalal. Zalal is minus 425. I'm going to keep it together for the intro. Cavalcante is plus 325. And I could look really stupid here. No, you know what? Regardless, I don't think I can look stupid. This line is dumb. Even if Zalal smokes him, this line is dumb. Over 2.5 rounds, minus 220. Fight goes to decision, minus 215. Cool. DraftKings salaries. Yusuf Zalal's 9,400. Cavalcante 6,800. Monk, take it away.
Yeah, it seems pretty wide. I saw this and I was quite surprised. Like, did Cavalcante have a leg amputated or what? Because he is 1-4 in his last 5. But dude, he's fighting Max Holloway, Josh Emmett, Arnold Allen, Aljo Sterling. Like dudes that are title, have
top 5
champions or are maybe right there.
Top 5, Emmett, you can call it. Is Emmett top 5 still?
Probably
not borderline,
not
not still.
But he's close.
Yeah, he's top 10. Nobody in there is out of the top 10.
No, and his win was against Giga Chikadze back in when was that fight? January of 22 was like.
I'm actually gonna truck that one down. I was all over Cater. Giga's a fucking fraud. I was so happy with that. That was one of my bigger bets.
That was a good one. He looked good in that fight. I remember that one. It was January of 22. Yusuf Zalal, meanwhile, 3-1-1 in his last 5. Jack Shore, Jarno Aarons, and Billy Q. Now, is there a difference there between those 3 guys and Sterling, Arnold Allen and Max Holloway? Like, there's a big difference there. But Calvin Kattar gets hit, and he gets hit a lot. And you're like, oh, you're a stat guy. It's the Max Holloway fight. Well, that's fine. Take out the Max Holloway fight. He allowed 5 strikes a minute in the win against Chikadze, 4.2 against Emmett, 5.4 against Allen. So that's a shitload of strikes he's allowing, and then just 2.6 against Sterling. But he was taken down 8 times and controlled for almost 11 minutes of a 15-minute fight. Zalal's big thing is his defense. He is extremely defensively sound. He does have a bit of a hole in his takedown defense, but we're not expecting that from Calvin Kattar. We've seen a very little amount of that, but I'd be surprised. So if we're talking striker versus striker here, this is like a 50-50 fight. So again, the line is wrong, but I'm still going to lean Zalal decision probably. Just because he's been so impressive against shit competition recently. You can't ignore the competition. Like, you just can't. So I think Kattar's probably fine in basically all formats. Zalal, I'm not too interested in. And super quick before I give up the mic, he put up 95 against Shore, 101 against Aarons, and 99 against Q. But this is after, before he was putting up, 68 against Griffin and 87 against Austin Lingo. So maybe USADA not being around has something to do with it. We'll see. But Calvin Kattar's a real fucking tough out. This ain't Jarno Aarons.
Right. You said Jarno Aarons, Billy Q, which looks to have fallen off a cliff, by the way, and the now retired Jack Shore.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Calvin Kattar's a different fucking animal. Yeah, he went to split decision 5-round war with Josh Emmett. Yes, he got knocked out by Aljo Sterling, and he got wrestle fucked by Arnold Allen. He got knocked out by, and he got wrestle fucked by Aljo Sterling.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, what in there is making us minus 400 for Yusuf Zalal? He can come out and he can spark Calvin Kattar, and I'll still be. I would still looking at the line was still wrong. And he's got the hype behind him talking. I don't know what it is. There's something. I guess people like his interview, the comeback story. I get it. Like if this was lined at like Zalal minus 170, I'd be like, all right. I guess I would still favor Kattar. I think slightly at dog money, and maybe I'll just be way off. Zalal will smoke him. Maybe Kattar is definitely getting fight old,
right?
But that's got to be it. That's the only thing I could think of. Otherwise, I don't get this number. Look, if Zalal goes out and puts up 120, I'm smoked. I'm just smoked. This is a show me spot. It's minus 200 to go to decision. Is he gonna lay? Is he gonna lay on Kattar like Aljamain Sterling? Maybe he could, but still at 9,400.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just not quite a believer in Yusuf Zalal yet.
To see him paying off.
The hype train is full effect, and I've jumped on plenty of hype trains before, and this one I'm watching for now. I don't think I can quite get on. Zalal for this price is a no-go for me. Kattar only having 3 rounds to work. It'll be hard for him to make the optimal as well because he's just going to box. That's just what he does. So even though I like Kattar in the spot, I can't jam him in all my DFS lineups because he can win and score 70, 60 and not be optimal. And I'd be like, all right, cool. So I'll probably have a small bet on Calvin Kattar at these odds and move on about my day from there, be underweight to the fight and hope not to get burned. Especially considering I'm going to have 100% of our main event, which is Gregory Robocop Rodrigues and Jared the Killer Gorilla Cannonier. Rodrigues, first main event, I believe, minus 220. He's the favorite. Killer Gorilla, plus 185. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 265, which I think is actually a little bit wide because
I agree.
If Rodrigues can't get a finish, I don't think Cannonier will beat him. but I don't think he's going to finish him. I watched RoboCop fight with the full-on vagina on his forehead and beat Chidi and Jaquani. That is a tough fucking man. But by the way, if you don't know what I mean, go look up the cut. Just look up Gregory Rodrigues, Chidi and Jaquani. Probably just Chidi is fine. Cut, and you're going to see a man's skull. Like how that fight was not stopped was wild.
You can see what he was thinking about having for dinner after the fight.
And he got the win. DraftKings salaries, by the way. Rodrigues 8,600, Cannonier 7,600. I'm on the RoboCop side. I was hoping for pick'em odds, honestly, because the Killer Gorilla has been around for a little while, has looked good. Rodrigues has got more power, and he's got his grappling pushed it over the top. I think Cannonier it's clearly made big improvements since he was an undersized heavyweight, got in shape, has got better. Was in a fought for was it for the title? Yeah, fought for a title against Israel Adesanya. Terrible performance. It was the worst main event I've ever seen, by the way. Like in person, I was there when people were leaving International Fight Week. We were just walking out. That was an interesting experience. Regardless, he got there. Pretty much an all-in fight. Don't like it for the cash stack because it can finish, and I'm pretty strongly on the Rodrigues side. Can grapple, bigger power. Cannonier has not looked great recently. I'm with RoboCop. Monk, how about for you?
Yeah, I agree. I'm on the RoboCop side here. 32 years old against Cannonier is now 40 years old. So you got to keep that in mind.
At middleweight, that's a problem.
Both guys are very good offensively. RoboCop has decent takedown defense where Cannonier really doesn't, but he also doesn't have much takedown offense. So we're not really too worried about that. The main thing I wanted to say, because I agree with you completely, I'm on the RoboCop side, but I do want to play close to 100% of this fight. RoboCop very, very, we'll say chinny, but I don't necessarily mean that. That's like the attribute. I mean, when it's like he's prone to getting cut, as you kind of mentioned already. So he could be winning this fight and then gets cut open by Cannonier, who hits hard as shit. And then the fight's over and Cannonier ends up winning and getting those bonus points. So if you're on the RoboCop side, you still have to play some Cannonier and GPP fights for that reason, in my opinion. I think that's the big takeaway here. I wouldn't be surprised if Cannonier or if Rodrigues came out here and finished Cannonier kind of early, but at the same time, if he gets cut open, it goes into the hands of the doctor, and we never want to see that. So make sure to get both guys in your lineups. But I agree. I'm on the RoboCop side.
All right, let's go ahead and let's go full screen here. Don't go anywhere. Smash the like button. We got to talk kill shots. Under-owned GPP play that can help you win a tournament. Can't go main event, anything else. It can be a favorite. Like if you wanted to say Jacqueline Cavalcante, that is fine. It's everyone. Why people can't get this concept down is beyond me. It's not about having to be an underdog. It's about who's going to be under-owned. Who do you slam in to your lineups, or at least go overweight on, that's going to help you take it down. By the way, I should have been right on Tom Nolan last week, and that I don't even know I don't think he was optimal, but he had a chance for that early finish, and I was like, fucker. I was right there.
Slava looks so fucking bad.
Still got the dub, but because he didn't get the finish early, it was rough. Oh, by the way, and the Jimmy Crute the Jimmy Crute draw actually fucked me. Like so aggressively.
So fucking stupid. I was talking
should have got the finish. You know what's really messed up? And we all know Sun Tzu. Most people in this space know Sun Tzu, right? So buddy of mine, I had the screen grab. I text Sun Tzu right at the end of the first round, right? Like it's just happened. And I go, and you remember my take? I was very, very high on Crute. I had a lot of Crute. No, you know exactly what I typed? I texted him, Crute is the kind of guy to fuck you after that first round.
Yeah.
Because he's just that type of guy. And I was like, here it comes. And they started getting tired, and the leg kicks. I'm like, you fucker.
See, I had it 29-27. And then he read it 29-27. I was like, well, it's going to be a majority split or majority win.
I thought so too. I was hoping that would have helped.
It's like, motherfucker, he draws again twice.
It wasn't even a robbery. I think it was 29-27 too, but you're like, the second, like, yeah, I get it. And I think I tweeted out, I was like, listen, I'm pretty biased watching it. I had that much Crute where I'm like, I'm really biased, guys. I think it was 29-27, but I definitely, and I haven't got a chance to rewatch it yet. So Anyway, let's find a good kill shot for this week. I need a verdict from you because I'm bad at ownership.
Mm-hmm.
It's a high inside the distance prop fight, so it could be chalky. Is Chaos Williams a kill shot, or is it too chalky as a dog at 7,300?
I think he's so low. Like that has to be a kill shot at 73. It has to be.
Cool. Give me Chaos Williams then.
If it's not, then what are we even doing? You know.
That's fair. And then I would say, fine, fuck you. Give me. I almost said Calvin Cater.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably Calvin Cater after that.
You know, I have two, and I was gonna go Vince Morales, but I don't really like that as much. And you're gonna hate what I go with, but it's gonna be Angela Hill.
I hope she loses and retires on you.
Stop it. That's so fucked up.
If she loses, she might put her gloves down. She's been around long enough.
Look, man, she's scoring well. We're gonna ride this wave, right? We're gonna ride this no USADA wave. Give her all the EPO, all that shit. Whatever Muin Gaffarov was on 2 weeks ago, give her all that. And we're score triple digits again. Let's go. Who the fuck is Caitlin Souza? Right? This is Angela Hill we're talking about. That's it. That's all I got.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here before I have a stroke. Golly. All right, guys, hit the like button, share with your friends. I had a good time breaking down UFC Cannonier versus Rodrigues. There's one fight we still got to break down for our members, so make sure you guys get in there with that. Members, drop questions all week in the Discord. I'll try, definitely going to get to them and answer them. Try and do a lineup building show like I did last week if I have some time. Other than that, guys, Monk, it was fun as always. See you next week. Good luck in those contests.